Hello, I'm FPX and welcome back to the episode of my Minecraft Xbox Updated Ventures Let's Play. This is the 383rd episode of the Let's Play where I've been playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the Xbox, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in today's episode, I actually wanted to work on a different part of the world because a lot of people recognize this area right here with the giant bed, the wood factory, all these things around me that we show off at the start of most of the episodes, but a part of the world you might not be familiar with is the TU31 Let's Play area. This is a part of the world I made over 4 years ago now when the brand new biomes, i.e. Savannah, i.e. Roof Forest, etc. first came to Minecraft console, so I could play around with so many of the new blocks, because at the time they added new woods, new glass, so many different colored blocks that I was like, I need to work with this. And I was here for a fair number of episodes of a separate but kind of linked in Let's Play, and it was a super fun thing, but I've kind of abandoned it for most of the time ever since. Well, today I figured, again, because as part of the efforts to make this world something that will eventually be on the store, I want to finish a lot of these kind of half-finished products, or at least finish some of the parts of it. So in today's video, we're going to be kind of working on some of the lesser finished parts of this, because there's just a few things around here that kind of irk me, and I feel like let's get those finished, so at least even though it's meant to look unfinished, even though it's meant to have some parts that are clearly not done, there's just stuff around here where it's like, let's at least cover that up. Stuff like, okay, well, there's just a random hole in front of this that leads into a cave, it seems. Stuff like, you know, the redstone pillars that are meant to power the rails on top of these, at least have the pillars be complete, so there's like a form to it all. There's a lot of things I want to do today, so yeah, it's going to require gathering some resources and then placing them all over town, not just the redstone like I mentioned, not just dirt, but also there's a bunch of sandstone holes I need to fix up, so let's bring some sand, and just all these sorts of things I'm going to be going from all over the world and patching it up. So first of all, let's gather said resources by going back to my base. So I got myself a bunch of the resources I'm going to need to do to patch up at least a lot of this stuff, and on the way I realized there's this wall here which is missing some of the little pointy bits on the top, and I feel like, you know, it's really easy to take some of the cobblestone walls we already had and just add them to the top here while we walk over there anyway. So yeah, this is going to be an episode / a part of the thing, mostly just dedicated to, I guess, fixing stuff up, because honestly, the most exciting part of any build, the most exciting part of any new thing is when it's fresh and it's new in your head, but it is important sometimes to take existing ideas and to work with them and to make them better sometimes. Like, it's really easy to get stuck in the logic that the way things are right now is the way they'll be best forever. And although, you know, like, in some point in time that might have been true, I'm sure for some people that is true at some points, it's not always true for everyone all the time. Also, just something interesting that I kind of just spotted right now is for some reason, just over here, we have what seems to be a bucket of milk. Just, why did I make this? Why does it have one hole here? I'm not too sure, but it's a fun little thing. I guess it's a bucket of milk that's leaking milk out, maybe. I probably had some intention for that at first. I also have a secret chest filled with very little things here. There's a lot of stuff around here that I clearly had an intention with at some point, and I'm just not sure that intention ever was. Like, what's this water doing here? There's so many big questions, but we're not going to focus too much on them. Instead, we're going to focus on fixing stuff up, because that's all we're doing today. We're going on a construction project binge. So first of all is making these red pillars hit the ground. In my opinion, I think this bridge, at least to me, looks nice. Again, when it comes to like how Minecraft builds look, it's all about how you care about stuff. If you ever get caught up in the game of like, oh no, the only thing that's important to me is how everything else perceives me, then you're gonna end up with some bad situations and not having so much fun in a game like Minecraft, which is, you know, designed for you to express yourself. However, every now and then there's some times where I'm like, you know, the way I expressed myself in the past was actually pretty darn awful. Like, why did I just decide to have wood up there instead of a redstone block? Like, it was just an objectively awful decision, and now we can go back and we kind of fix that stuff and make it, like, uniformly look the same all across. So that's an opportunity I'm excited for. I guess I just ran out of redstone, because again, if you're curious, when I did this whole Let's Play style thing, let's call it, at the time, it was just like, oh yeah, it was a separate Let's Play. I used a different set of stuff. I started again from scratch, which means that if you look at this house over here, it's a whole new thing. Again, there's, but a lot of the times people get caught up on the idea of like, the way I did something in the past is always the way I'm going to do things, and it's always tricky to like force yourself out of that logic, because you know, like, at least for me, my brain never wants to like just randomly rejigger things. I feel like there are two types of people in the world: people who like, you know, try to keep things how they are, and people who want to change things. And although there's a lot of things that I do like changing, when it comes to a lot of stuff, like, you know, my living room, for instance, I try to keep that pretty much the same as it's always been, because, you know, like, there are some things I like how I like them, and, you know, that's fine for a lot of, like, personal decisions, probably, and, you know, that's why it's fine in certain places, but I also think that sometimes you gotta just re-examine your past decisions and be like, hey, is that thing that I did in the past still right for me right now? And, you know, even if you go through that process and end up with the answer of yes, it's still a good thing. So yeah, this, I don't know, fun rants of Toy Cat out of the way. Now let's talk about what I've been up to in the past week, because this is the Let's Play, even though it's a little bit of a different form factor, which we can talk about later maybe. I want to first of all talk about what I've been going up to and what's been going on in the past week, because this has mostly been a video week. I sometimes describe this when I'm super busy, like going somewhere and then going somewhere just afterwards. I have this like gap in between where it's like, well, gotta make a bunch of videos because, or like, not even just a bunch of videos, but gotta like, like make videos every day rather than just like, make videos 5 or 6 days in a week, because it's like, well, I'd like for there to be videos every day that I'm going. I'd like people to still be able to. Also, is that ghast hitting me, or sorry, that husk hitting me, or I feel like it is that husk, right? Is that a glitch? I think it. Okay, let's just ignore that. That's the strangest thing I've ever seen. But okay, now it's attacking me. Let's just kill all these guys. They've lost their ability to life. But yeah, so because I try not to make my like again my decisions wildly affect all the people that rely on me for whatever. So I try my best to like have a thing up there. And I feel like especially recently we've been putting out some of the best stuff on the channel. Even while I've been gone, stuff like. There's a few videos in production right now I'm just super excited about, like wearing awful Minecraft merch, but in public. There's a lot of like midway through development videos. Tomorrow, for instance, I'm going to try again on Minecraft beaten without placing any blocks whatsoever, because a lot of people think that's impossible. There's a lot of these like mildly fun challenges that I kind of want to work with, and it's an interesting place to be, and that's why I've been in the mode where I've been thinking like, let's just go back and let's like redo certain things, because I want this world to look better than it does right now. I want this world to represent a lot of different things, and at least for this part of it to look finished, even though it's deliberately unfinished in some ways. Like there's a plot over here that doesn't have something on it. Maybe we could put something there. It's good to at least have the bare bones. Also, that is just dangerous right there. But it's good to at least have the bare bones, at least have the important stuff or whatever. At least have that be finished, because you're going to have a better time if that's the case. So we're just going to sandstone up over a lot of different stuff around here, just to make some of the ugly voids go away. Also, so that they don't spawn mobs, because that's going to be important later. We're just going to cover all these holes with torches. And by cover, I mean loosely adorn, I guess, would be a better phrase for that, because that's just an important thing to do. Also, look, there's just a whole cave down here that I covered with a building, which I love the ingenuity of it, but it's also a bit like, man, that is a weird thing I did over here, right? So yeah, in case you're curious as to why this desert's so destroyed, it's because at one point I needed a lot of sand, so I started like just making holes in it or whatever, which I mean like was a viable solution at the time, but it has led to some issues since, so maybe learn my lesson on that one. Also, maybe not learn the lesson too much. Would probably do it again if I'm being totally honest with you, but it's still something like that's an interesting problem to deal with, I would say. So we'll now place stuff there, and then some, just sand over there. There we go. And just like that, it's almost as good as new. Just at least minimizing the holes rather than just having huge gaping voids is generally a good thing. So, but yeah, I also have been using this as a good opportunity to like, I don't know, like everyone uses January as the opportunity to get like healthy or whatever. And this January I've been like, I'm just gonna use this as an opportunity to kind of do the opposite. Not to be unhealthy, but it's not gonna be my primary focus. It's just gonna be one of the kind of side focuses of the month. And instead, I've been using January as my opportunity to be like, let's learn, let's do some more cooking. Let's do some more of this. Let's see for sure. One of the myth, or I don't know if it is a myth or not, but one of the things I've always been curious about is the concept of home cooked food versus other food, right? Like, if you don't know, like everyone's always like, oh, I love a good home cooked meal. I actually don't. Even though, a lot of people assume like, oh, so you never had like parents or grandparents cook for you. I always had parents and grandparents cook for me. Maybe they were bad at cooking. I don't think that is the case. I think, my grandmother, she's from Sri Lanka, Ceylon is what she calls it. But like, like she's from, like Asia makes some amazing curries, and like, there's stuff like that like you definitely do crave from time to time. But I also think that like there's nothing just inherently better about home cooking. So every now and then what I like to do is I like to kind of experiment on myself. Kind of going back to the theme of this episode, which I guess is now the theme of this episode, which is the whole kind of thing of like, oh yeah, you should sometimes examine if you're doing something because it just feels right, or if it actually is, right, because sometimes a thing can be one and not the other. And one of the things like that for me has been like, why is it that everyone else says home cooked food is right? Maybe they are correct, and maybe I'm just like being a stubborn, child about this. Like, no, I don't want to eat home cooked food, because like I do enjoy cooking a lot. It's just I can't cook every meal, right? I'm sure some of you are in that same boat. If you have to cook for yourself, it's like some days there just isn't time for that. Like the world requires more and more things from you. It's fine to not necessarily do every specialist task yourself. At least that's how I see the world. And so yeah, this past month I've been doing a lot more cooking my own stuff, and then also at the same time. So again, a bit of a weird experiment, but I've been trying at the same time as cooking food for myself. Also, then like soon after, going out and like trying the exact same thing or as close as I can get from somewhere else. Like, so for instance, I really wanted the reason this started is I really wanted noodles, and it was like, okay, well, noodles, they'd be great or whatever, but there's only one place that is just a dedicated noodle place in my little city suburb. So, in case you're curious, it's called Chopsticks. They're not amazing, but they're not terrible. The way I describe it is it's tasty food, but it all tastes the same. Which, it's a super, super strange thing. If you have a Chopsticks near you, if you live in the UK, you know what I'm talking about. You'd be like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, that's exactly what Chopsticks is. It's the same. It's exactly the same food every time you go, but it's pretty good regardless. But anyway, I really wanted it, but it was closed on Sunday. And just for the record, I'm still mind-boggled when a store is like, oh yeah, we have a day of the week we're closed. It's like, really? I mean, if you're like a family business, I guess fair enough. But like, a major national chain, I want to say it's national. If it's not, then sorry for talking about, I guess like, I want to say it's, I've seen a few in the East Midlands. So, this East Midlands-like chain, sorry for getting you all jealous or whatever. But no, yeah, it's just one of those things where like, I really wanted that and it wasn't open. So I was like, I'll make it myself then. I'll show them who's boss. And I have a lot of packed ice that I just didn't realize about here. That is quite an interesting thing to find. But yeah, basically I was like, okay, gonna show them who's boss, gonna make my own noodles, they're gonna be better, etc, etc. And I was like, actually, I've just finished my noodle craving, but I kind of do want some noodles from that. And I did enjoy my ones better. They cost the same amount and I cooked it myself better. But here's the thing that everyone misses when you're like, okay, so if you're gonna home cook food versus if you're gonna do something else, if you're gonna home make anything, you have to do a better job. Like, I think a lot of people assume because something is home cooked, it is better. But you can home make anything terrible. I'm sure anyone who's ever seen like a 4-year-old make paintings versus like any real painting, you're like, yeah, there is a reason that that there are real artists that are paid money. There's a reason we don't just all make our own art because we're not very good at it, especially when we're for Susan or Susie. I guess Susan's not really a child name. Susan's the name of like a 45-year-old executive that's like kind of a little bit done with what she's doing right now. But the point that I was trying to raise with all of that is just that also I've got some yellow stained glass here, so I'm gonna finish off my the brewing stand using this because it's yellow and I'm hoping no one will even notice. So yeah, there's another unfinished build here that I need to finish. Just over here, as you can see, this right here, I just assumed like I'll come back for it at some point. It's been years, I'm not coming back for it. So let's just use the yellow stained glass. Let's just hope no one even notices. We'll just like place a little gap in the side here, and we'll argue its artistic integrity, or we'll use some set of words that'll convince people this was a good idea, and it'll be wonderful. So then just come down like this, place all the blocks, and there we go. So yeah, looks just as good as if there was no hole in. You can actually very clearly see where the hole is, but now it at least looks like an artistic decision, which is all I want to go for with this. I want to make it look like I want there to be a story rather than a hole. I used to think that like just having unfinished builds was like, oh yeah, that's just where I got bored of the thing, and that was always fine. But one of the things I want to improve is like rather than just having bored holes, have at least something there, because so at least something will tell a story better than a bored hole. But again, I don't know why I keep calling them bored holes, but that's what I've decided is their name apparently. So yeah, basically this week I've been doing a lot of let's call it home cooking, and it's been pretty good results. I usually one of the reasons I think that people prefer home cooked food is because you can make it how you like, and because you have no idea how healthy or unhealthy it is. Again, that stigma of just like homemade things are better has which it's a good stigma. It causes some societal good in the end, I'm sure. But that stigma has actually, or the stigma, the opposite of the stigma, I guess, has actually led to some interesting, at least in my opinion, it's led to some interesting things where like, oh yeah, you can believe it's healthy even when it's not. One of the best ways to make it home cooked, insert anything here, is just to like cover it in butter. One of my favorite Gordon Ramsay quotes is just where he's like, the reason when you go to restaurants and it tastes better than when you do it when you cook at home is because you're not using enough butter and salt or something like that. Because salt's bad for you, but you're not. If this is like a once a week food, cover it in salt if it tastes good, and then you just made homemade amazing. It's actually really depressing when you realize where flavor comes from. You assume that like cooking is this amazing science, this precise, thing where you put together, grandma's recipe is amazing because this, that, but it's really just she uses a bit more salt, and like salt tastes good as it turns out. By the way, yeah, this is my old Minecraft battle. Just Minecraft minigame thing. It's like, honestly, I mostly made it so it would look good from the inside, and there's only a few bits that I really need to start working on. So I guess I need to like loop that over there, and at some point I want to make it look perfect from the inside, just so I can come here every now and then and like have more nostalgia. And yeah, there's just a few blocks that I'm like wildly missing. Like, why don't I have slime blocks there? You're not meant to just take damage in this, and there's a lot of things like that to consider. It's just fun to come here every now and then and just remember the past, Remember the past, but make it better for the future. Oh, there's a bunch of wood in here, which I probably should be using, actually. So yeah, let's maybe work on this just a little bit, just to at least make the outside less unappealing, because there's a lot of stuff in here. So you saw like, oh yeah, there was that cobblestone wall. Needed to do that. There's stuff like this right here where it's like, man, why did I not do that? Maybe I just didn't have enough stone bricks at the time or something. But like, this is a clear case of, someone should definitely be doing something about this. And someone can be me apparently today. So let's do that. Let's just make this outside wall, just so that it looks a bit more bearable from the public side, because it's always going to look like a mess. I'm never going to finish this. At least I'd like to believe I will, but I won't. I also think, actually, to go back to previous little message here, I also think that lying to yourself about what you can do is how you get burned out and stressed. You know how like some people have it built into them that they always have to do a thing? I think that's more of a curse than a blessing. You might look at ultra successful people and think like, man, imagine how great it would be to have like 18 yachts or whatever. But he's on each of those 18 yachts. They're like crunching spreadsheet numbers, getting super stressed because he's not, meeting his own performance targets. I'm sure some people enjoy 18 yachts, but my point is like, whenever I look at high performing people, it's always like, man, that's a whole burden almost as well as a thing, right? That's a whole ordeal someone is going through for that. Or maybe they're not. Maybe it's a very convincing, successful lie that you can tell society to get people on your side. I'm not too sure. But what I am sure of is, again, I wanted to at least talk about a little bit today. One of the things that, I'm checking my mic is on, it is. But one of the things that I've been really... Oh, I need to get some jungle slabs and then do this maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, so one of the things... that's really just been in my mind this past week, because this kind of all stemmed from like, so what are you doing this week? And I was like, cooking, and then all that things come out of it. But yeah, the biggest thing that has been okay, so I guess we need to copy that, but over here, right? Yeah, that's what we need to do. It's a little bit pointless, but I have the oak wood anyway, so why not, I guess. And then also do the same over here. I assume. Yep, let's just assume that that's how that goes too. And then we'll do the same over there. And then later we can come in with some stone bricks. And just at least, like, have a finished something, That's all I want. A finished something will make me a happy something. But, yeah, no, so I've been really focused on Minecraft this past week. Like, all the different challenges that have just been running through my head. Like, all the different things to do. Which, I think it's a really good place for me to be. I think, the level of, like, waking up... interest I have in Minecraft every day when I wake up it's been so high recently, like almost the bad level of high where it's like, man, it's literally like, this, just while I was in the shower, I came up with the idea like, why don't I work on this? It's something I really want to do. And then there's a lot of different thoughts that run through this stuff at all time. And I think it's maybe a good thing. So that's what I've been up to the past week. I've run out of resources to do most of the things I want. I've got some dirt. Actually, no, yeah, let's just use the dirt and do some important stuff. Actually, before we use the dirt, just an interesting little observation. So this right here is a real desert. A lot of people get confused when I say this is a real desert, but you'll notice how, because it's a real desert, it doesn't rain here. It rains when you're outside the real desert, like just over here, and it even rains on the edge a little bit because the biomes have this weird kind of blend effect or whatever, but it looks like it's raining all the way over there even, just because it's raining here. That's a Minecraft thing, like, is it raining there? No, it's not. So, interesting little bizarre fun fact of Toycat. But if we go look at my fake desert, the one I complain about all the time, the one I'm destroying, and the one that confuses literally everyone, you'll see how looking over there, again, it's made from the exact same blocks. It's still sand, etc. Over here, it's a fake desert because it doesn't stop raining. I think it's technically a jungle over here, so it stops raining as soon as you leave. Oh no, jungles have rain. It's a savanna just over here, and there's also a desert that I think is real. So as soon as you get outside of the desert, it stops raining. But while you're in the desert, it rains. And given that that's one of the biggest reasons to have a desert in Minecraft, in my opinion, it seems a bit pointless. So I'm actually going to look around right now and just try and find anywhere where it doesn't rain in here. But yeah, no, that's not the case. If you want to escape the rain, you just go somewhere else. Also, if you go high enough up above one of these places, it snows because it's a taiga biome. So, fun facts of Toycat. And yeah, the rain will magically just stop when we enter the desert, which doesn't make any sense, but honestly, at this point, I've just learned to accept it. Also, at this point, if I have all that packed ice, why don't I just finish the top of that Toycat? You know, see, Toycat here, coming in with a great little idea, assuming that creeper doesn't kill me, of course. Maybe we should kill the creeper. That's the solution here. Oh gosh, there we go. Don't know how he died in 2 hits. Must have fallen down from somewhere. But yeah, having this giant chest be exposed, because it was meant to be a chest room that I just never really worked on. Yeah, that's a bit of a bizarre one now that I think about it. But yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about basically changes on the channel, right? Because a lot of people really like the old style Let's Play, and this is mostly the same thing, right? Like we talk for a long time, we play some Minecraft, but there's gonna be like a few cuts here and there. Maybe I want to experiment with that some more in the future. Maybe if you like it, we can do like the modern style Let's Play, where it's like lots of single minutes combined together. I'm not too sure what I want to do with that. I'm just kind of experimenting because again, I want to feel out how fun it is, and also you know, like how good subjectively I think it actually is to do. But yeah, one of the oh, this is a whole dark cave thing that I've apparently been in already based on that. But yeah, basically I wanted to talk a little bit about basically the concept of a Toycat style podcast, because a lot of people like the Let's Play as a podcast, and maybe the cuts make that a bit more disconcerting. And it's something that just people ask for all the time. It's something I really want to do all the time, but also it never really makes sense. Like it never financially on any, you know, it doesn't. The episodes don't really support themselves. They become like horrific investments of time, effort, and like a video upload on the channel. And that's a shame. You know, like don't get me wrong, it's not the ideal function. But then I think, so like what can you really do about that? And I think the solution is like, okay, so live stream replacements, they're going to be the regular style podcast. Whenever I'm not doing a live stream, there'll be a live stream replacement. It's basically like a podcast where like almost like a Let's Play, but like for an hour instead of 40 minutes. Also, there's just when I am in the country, there's just the live streams, which are kind of a lot of people enjoy those in the podcast play. I really need a donkey. And given this donkey just lives in this house and always has. Oh, there's 2 donkeys. I think I'm going to take the donkey with me. Oh, he's already tamed. Oh, no, he's not. He's gonna kick me off. So yeah, I think we got something good done today. We gave back to the old world in quite a few different ways, and it looks like we're going to get back to as soon as we can drive the donkey home with us. Because one of the achievements I also don't have, I was considering doing a live stream for all of these, but I just realized, like, you know, that might be a while. But one of the live streams, one of the achievements I still need to get is breeding horses with donkeys. So as long as I have a saddle here, which I think I do. Oh no, all the saddles are in the other side of my wall. So we'll find an ender chest. We can make an ender chest probably. But what we're going to do is we're going to like bring one of those over here. And then I'm going to take the donkey with me, because then I can get that achievement done. Also, this is the weirdest house on the inside. Like, I know that I was just like kind of being fun with all of this, but like, why did I decide to have a house with a pool on the inside and then 2 donkeys, and then the upstairs is just a giant room? Again, you can see like, oh, there's just a hole there too. What is everything in this house? 2014 Toycat. See, that's fun though, because it at least is mostly complete. It's got a tree on the top. Oh, the houses have each other's trees. So that's a house made from dark oak with an acacia tree. That's an acacia house with a dark oak tree. It's nice stuff. But yeah, when it comes to like podcasts, the live streams should be good for that. When it comes to podcasts when I'm not here, there'll be like live stream replacement style things. And then, like maybe one day we can work out some service to have it be separate. But for now, I think that's like a good balance to do it. That's, I'm always like trying to start up the idea of a thing, but I like mixing it in with gameplay, honestly. I like playing games while we talk. I think that's a nice social time to do it. So that's just my take on things. I would like to hear yours in the comments down below. If you did all enjoy this episode of the Let's Play, where we went through and fixed some stuff which has been broken for literally years now, then you can like this and let me know, because, I don't know, helps out the channel a lot. Oh, wait, no, what? There's one more thing we gotta do. Sorry, one of the most annoying, I don't know why to me, but this is the most annoying flaw. What we're just gonna do, because we need the sand and the dirt right anyway, we're just gonna take all of this up, and we're just gonna make the floor out of wood. Wood is a reasonable floor to have, and we got all the right stuff for it. So just all of this, replace it with wood, and now we'll make our lives like 1,000 times better. Except underneath the bookshelves, because no one can see under there. But like as simple as this, make a whole stack of wood, and boom. Again, every now and then there's just a thing where it's like, this is so simple that I really don't have an excuse for not doing it. And having a wood floor here, one of those things. It's one of those things. So just drill this too, and probably the block behind that, so you can't see that there's sand under the bookshelves. And then no one will ever be any the wiser that this whole room didn't look like this. Again, I never intend to use this for enchanting, but it's one of these little parts of the world that I'm just fondly like, but also never look at. It's I sometimes feel this about a lot of stuff, where like one of the feelings that I feel like I have under control, at least I feel like, I should clarify, obviously not always gonna be true, but that I feel like a lot of people don't, is like random nostalgia, or like temporary love, where like you feel like something is the most important thing in the world right now in this very moment. I feel like one of the things that I can manage is like realizing that it's right down the moment. And one of the things that I see a lot of people get wrong is assuming that like, no, it's gonna be forever, and then it's not forever, and then that's a thing. And I feel like I feel that with this house. Right now, it's like, this is the best build. I'm going to use it for all my things ever. I'm going to make another version of this. It's so wonderful. Look, I made a little circle in the window. Why did I make a circle in the window there? Surely that should be centered. I don't know. Does it say 100 maybe? 110? 11? Let's go look at this from the outside, actually. So, like, why is this the case? Why is it 110? What did I intend when I did that? I don't know. So, wait, what did I intend? Because it's the word 10. This is terrible. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Let's Play. I'll see you all in 384, which is just after I get back from Canada, because this is just as I go to Canada. Again, saw a cheap flight, decided to check out Alberta, in case you're curious. That's where I am. I think it's Banff, which is a very divisive tourist town. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, and I'll let you know about it when I get back, unless I hate it, in which case I won't let you know, and I'll just be angry instead. Sounds good? Sounds good to me. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.